Hello.
Hello, Gautam.
Hi, Mustafa. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, very good.
Thank you very much. You gave us a time. Actually, I have a friend with me. He
Okay,
watched our video on YouTube, so he requested
okay,
me that he wants to join. I said,
okay.
most welcome, no problem.
Sure, sure, sure. Hi, Syed.
I think his mic is on mute.
Okay, sure.
Yes, Gautam. Actually, the things that you were showing us day before yesterday on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I was very much interested because in my company I am as you know that I'm looking after everything,
Okay,
and marketing and sales team is also reporting to me.
okay.
So I was very much interested to see that how we can use technology, especially the different APIs,
Mm-hmm.
to get the leads
Yeah.
in the market, because we are also using LinkedIn, we are using other, but the way that you showed us, it's
Mm-hmm.
not that way. So I
Okay.
thought it would be a good if I can have a session with you where you can elaborate more and you can give us some tips and some tricks
Mm.
to generate the leads. Let me just give you a brief description that we are basically in a manufacturing business. We are
Okay.
manufacturing of static equipment. It's if you are familiar with the industry, especially the oil and gas, petrochemical.
Mm-hmm.
We are dealing with refineries. We are dealing with big petrochemical plants. So we are
Okay.
manufacturing for them storage tank and big kind of vessels, kind of
Okay.
columns. We are also manufacturing for them different kind of steel structure, some pressure piping related things.
Okay.
Our main clients are Saudi Aramco, the oil and gas companies, the
Mm-hmm.
refineries,
Okay.
along with petrochemical companies, huge plants, and the government infrastructure related construction institutes
Okay.
responsible for the development of the areas. For example, in some areas it's called municipality,
Mm-hmm.
where they are developing, the roads and the water systems for the new developing areas. So
Mm-hmm.
we are manufacturing those big tanks where you store the oil, where you store the water, where you store anything that you want. So this is our
Okay.
business, and these are our clients. So
Okay.
what could be your uh,
So, what is your current strategy in terms of client acquisition? What is your, what tools that you guys use to get your or touch base or to market your or reach out to your clients?
currently, mainly we are reaching the clients by visiting them. We
Okay.
just go them, meet the procurement people in their procurement departments, and tell them about our previous experiences and our capabilities. This is the main what we are doing,
Okay.
and to getting the right people there, definitely we try to just go through the LinkedIn and
Hmm.
see that if we are able to find someone from a company called Sabik who is their buyer in which plant. So we get little help from the LinkedIn or this kind of things,
Okay.
but mostly we are just visiting them and meeting them and getting their contact details and everything.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. So, Just to give you a quick background, though you know a bit about me in terms of the industry is concerned. So basically, I was into sales from the day I graduated from my college. So I've been in a lot of forms of sales. I've been in direct sales also. When I say direct sales, which we call it door-to-door marketing,
Yeah.
which we go to. I mean, it's not literally houses, but we usually target B2B segment where we go to. So that's how I started my sales career as a door-to-door marketing. I started my work with Standard Chartered Bank in India. So when I started, I was tasked to do liability sales, which is the credit cards of the company. So I started selling the credit cards first, and eventually I moved on to the credit card is usually comes under the assets. Then I moved on to the liabilities, which is the savings account, current account, corporate account. So I was part of the OBST, what is the outbound sales team.
Mhm.
So we used to market the products of Standard Chartered Bank to B2C segment, B2B segment. So on B2C, we market this to consumers, where usually it happens by door-to-door marketing. So we go to we select a particular area, go to customers, we meet them, we knock doors, and we meet them. So that's how I started. Then I moved on to customer service. From sales, I moved on to customer service. I was on custom because since I was in sales for like quite some time now, I have a fair idea about the complete product of the company. So what happens is after sales, we had a major setback in Standard Chartered because the people who are handling our customers are not very sure about the products. So now what happens, sales gives a lot of promises, right? I mean, this,
Yeah.
that, they give moon to the earth, everything, whatever is available. They say
Yeah.
yes, 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 done, done, done. So eventually customer after subscribing to the product had a lot of issues because some are false promises, some are not really what Standard Chartered can offer. So there were a lot of issues that time. So then I had to move to customer service to basically to handle the grievances of customers. So I was in customer service. And then that actually paved my way to the BPO and contact centers. So then I moved to BPO contact centers, still on the sales. I was part of outbound sales teams, and that's when I learned about calling. No, I mean outbound cold calling, how to talk to customers over cold calling. So I was part of the BPOs. And from BPOs, I moved on to the IT. Now, the one that I'm in, which is purely an IT sales. So that's actually my career grounds or roots. But some way or other, from the day one I graduated until today, it's been almost 20 years. I've been in sales, some form of other. So it's purely into sales. Now, I mean, the one I showed you the other day is basically what we do right now. I mean, I must say that we are not experts. Definitely, I don't say that we know every single techniques or ways that are out there in the market. But what we are using, I would say, just 5% of what the market uses right now. The technology right now that is being used is much more advanced than what I've showed you or what we are using currently. So it's quite advanced, and there are I mean, these are basically smarter ways of doing things, right? I mean, there are a lot of ways. I mean, there are no right or wrong ways,
Yeah.
but to me, the way I look at it, the way you do it is either hardest way or the smartest way.
Exactly.
So we need to find more smarter ways of doing things because it would save a lot of time for your sales and marketing teams, and you won't end up wasting time talking to or chasing wrong people, right? Because what's important in sales is getting the right person or talking to the right department, or what we call or DMs, that is the decision makers.
Yeah.
No, I mean, when you hit the decision makers and when you spend time with them, it's wise to spend more time with them than to talking to people who will only say, no, okay, you talk to this person, that person. So that only wastes a lot of time. So time is essence. So that's why we always, even it takes time to reach the decision maker, we take time and we make sure we get to the decision maker when we talk about the product. No. So, like what I have shared the other day on LinkedIn, LinkedIn is our primary source because since our product is also IT products, we do a lot of consulting, we do a lot of system integration, and that's our main core business. So, our target segment, in terms of industry, we don't have any restrictions because since it's an IT, IT is predominantly used across various industries. So, if you look at my clientele is actually from a very diversified base because I have my strongest base is on BFSI, which is the banking and finance and insurance, and I do have a lot of customers on variety of other industries as well. Like we target retail, we target insurance, and we target media, we target e-commerce, we target integrators, system integrators, and every single industry. I would say there is no industry that is an exception because the product that we cater or that we market actually suits to almost all the industries out there.
What product both of you have?
Well, actually, we have a lot of technology products. I won't say we just have one. We have almost in our kitty we market close to 20 plus technology products. Like
Flagship
for
products, couple of.
um, different products. Say for example, just to give you a very quick example, like the ones that we are marketing right now. Basically, it's like an AI. It's an AI chatbot product, which is they are into conversational AI, natural conversational AI,
Mhm.
where we deploy chatbots. For example, if you go to any website, I think sometimes you get a pop-up like hi, that like it's like a chatbot, right? It will say
Yeah.
hi, welcome, how can I help you?
Mhm.
So then you just have to click. So that is a very basic chatbot. So we develop some of the very advanced chatbots and we deploy them to customers. So this will it will either handle your internal things, ITSM. For example, if there is a big enterprise, there is an ITSM team sits there that handles all the technical grievances. Like somebody says, my laptop is not connecting to my internet. How do I print it? How do I connect to a printer? So these are basic things that usually the ITSM handles. So this will be completely automated. We can automate that, and we do HR automation. Wherein we will deploy bots that can take over the HR functions. For example, if a company, usually companies usually have manuals, right? What they call it as a company policies. What are the do's and don'ts? So what we usually do, it can be directly uploaded to the AI, and then the AI can answer every single thing. So it's like a book that you let in a robot to read it, and after it reads the whole book, it can answer any question that you ask from the book. So that's the same thing that what we do, and it can be replicated on very different industries. Say, for example, we have replicated this with difficult user manual. For example, it can be company that specializes on automobile, right? So we have recently deployed this with MG Motors. There's the MG cars
Yeah.
now. So it we what we do, the complete user manual can be uploaded to the AI. So the AI can answer you any problems that happens on your car. So if there is a small thing, then because otherwise the consumer has to go through the complete manual one by one, repair up page by page to go to the particular page to understand the problem. But with the AI, he can just log into the website, say, hey, this is my problem. It will immediately say what is the solution or
Mhm.
where what exactly he has to do. So that's our target
Good, good,
product
good.
right now. We've
Okay,
been
so
deploying it to a lot of
yeah,
customers.
let's come back to our issue. So how we can find
Yes.
customers?
Okay, so coming back to your product, since you're also using LinkedIn a lot,
Mhm.
so I can show some of the examples, like the one that I have shared the other day.
Mhm.
That's actually just one of the example, but it's basically there are different tools out there, like what I have told you the other day also. There are hundreds of tools out there available. These are basically Chrome extensions. All these works on Chrome. Chrome will be usually our preferred browser. We don't use other browsers because Chrome has a lot of advanced options to enable extensions, because we also do a heavy recruitment. We also use this for recruitment, sales, and because everything, I mean, boils down to lead generation, and then it goes through a sales funnel. Even if you take recruitment or sales, it's all the same funnel that it goes through. Right. So what we do, we use, I mean, enterprise level, we use Lucia as one of our APIs that can help us to get the contacts of. See, the
Lucia
difference
is
is, I mean,
developed by whom?
Lucia is actually an European company that manages the whole thing. Lucia product by itself. We use this on an enterprise level. When I say enterprise, we actually have some 70 licenses across our operations. It is used in because Nityo, my company, we have a lot of operations spread across different countries. So we use this in the US, Europe. We use this in the Middle East. We use in India heavily, and we use this on APAC heavily also.
So
So this
Lucia is basically more specific to LinkedIn, or it has some other platform that Lucia is taking over?
they do have a lot of different platforms, but what we use Lucia is purely for the LinkedIn. Because our target customers are all on the LinkedIn, so we don't use them on other platforms. I think they support a lot of different platforms like LinkedIn. What we use them for is mainly on LinkedIn. So it's a subscription based. They have for some 3 to 4 levels of subscription. Each, I mean, ranges from $40, $30, $40 a month, where you can get some 50 to 60 contact details, and it goes as high as $100, where you have unlimited contact numbers that you can generate. So based on what's your requirement, you can. They also offer a free trial if ever you wanted to see how the product, whether it is suitable for you or not. You can opt to get a free trial. You can use them like a 30 days, or I think they give now. I don't think it's on a days base. I think it's based on number of contacts. So initially you can get some 10, 20 contacts free.
How to spell Lucia?
Um,
Lucia?
Lusha.
Lusha. Lucia.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you please just show me?
Hold on. It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Screen sharing. Okay. Now you can share.
Yeah. So can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my LinkedIn screen. If you go here, these are all the small icon here that you can see here, right? That's the Google Chrome extensions.
Okay.
So this is actually the Lucia pop-up, right? Do you see the small, the one with the lady's
Yeah.
face? That's actually the pop-up. So once we navigate, it will give me access also. So you also have the Sales Navigator, the one that offered by LinkedIn, which is also useful if ever you wanted to send emails or reach out people. That is also, we also have a Sales Navigator license, but I haven't activated mine, so it still shows as a option here. So, and if I go click here, these are all my extensions, right? There are, as I said, there are so many. These are just my active extensions. I have close to 50 plus extensions that I use for this particular.
These extensions are free, or what is this basically, or it is paid?
Most of them are paid. Most of them are paid, but you can install them for free. I mean, all these extensions, you can install them. And these are all used on different platforms, right? I mean, there are some that can be used on LinkedIn. There are some other that you can use on different platforms. As I said, the Swordfish can be used on any platform, even Facebook or any platforms. But their
These
capability differs.
extension will be installed on Chrome itself.
Yeah, you have to install it on Chrome.
Yeah, and then whatever platform you will open on Chrome, so this extension will work.
Correct. So you have to enable them. So if you say, you can see here, right? So this is the pin. You can remove it from Chrome. You can activate this small pin here. If you click it, it will be on. You can take it off. So I mean, there are so many things that I'm not using also. So these are basically the active ones that I use. So what happens is when you install these I would plugins. So if you go to any particular profile,
Can you
see,
please just write Saudi Aramco here?
hold on.
Saudi Aramco. ARAMCO.
Okay, so Saudi Aramco.
Yeah.
So that's a company, right?
Yeah, this is a company. So what data it's giving you? Swordfish.
So is that the Aramco Oil and Energy?
Yeah.
So when I click Aramco Oil and Energy, so this is actually the company,
Yeah.
and there are some 50,000 employees connected to this company.
Yes.
So if I click, the president and CEO of Aramco is Mr. Nabil Al
Noaim. Yeah.
Al Noaim, right? Al Noaim.
Yes.
Okay. So if I click this one,
Mm.
all my extensions will start to work on it. Right. For example, I'll give you one. This is Aramco, right? So for
Yeah.
Aramco, what I usually do, I have to go to their website first. Aramco UAE.
Aramco Saudi.
Okay. No, I just want to know their, what is it? Their URL.
Aramco.com.
Because Swordfish gives you a free email finder. I mean, with Swordfish, you can find business emails for free.
I cannot see your screen now.
You cannot see, hold on. Can you see now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So Swordfish extension gives emails for free. You can get emails for business emails for free. So now what I have to do, I just have to copy this person's name. Go here, I will just put prospect's name, and the company URL is Aramco, right? Aramco.com.
Yeah.
So if this person's email is listed anywhere on this internet, anywhere on the internet, it will find it for us. Okay, it's listed somewhere. You can see his contact number, email right here, Aramco. I'm just putting it on the email. I will just put it on the chat box so it will be useful for you.
President of Aramco, I have nothing to do with it.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
I'm just for example.
Okay.
And
So that's how you will find it, right? Say for example,
yesterday, behind this Swordfish, there was another application that was showing his contact number, this and that. This one.
so this one, that's Lucia actually.
It's Lucia.
Yeah.
So can you please just click on this show up subscription part?
So if I give show contact,
Uh,
so it will give me the Gmail, the personal number, contact number. I don't know why it's showing some India number. I don't know if it's from India also.
no, he is
But,
not from India. He is in Saudi.
Okay,
He is a
it's
Saudi
showing
guy.
Okay,
And he
it's
is
showing some
one-
India number, but
he
there
is
is a Saudi
one-
number also.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, but he is one of the prince. He is very near to Prince Mohammed bin Salman.
Oh, okay.
He is not a small guy. He is
Okay.
president of Saudi Aramco that is running the whole Saudi Arabia.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is showing some numbers. See, I mean, what Lucia does is, I mean, let me explain how the search engines work also. So what they do is they use the web crawlers, the one that I told you, the robots to.
Can you just, while you are explaining, just write Tasni in LinkedIn and
Come
this is
again?
another Tasni, TASNEE in LinkedIn, and then we'll try to select one guy so that we can continue.
Tasni.
Yeah, Tasni Petrochemical. Yeah, this is one of our client. Yeah, so how many people are there on LinkedIn from Tasni? It's about. How I can know that, for example, I want to know the CEO of Tasni.
You have to search actually. See what you can do if you know the name of the person, because CEO's name you can easily
Yeah,
get it,
it's available. Yeah.
right? So once you get the CEO's name,
Uh-huh.
and then you can just go search his contact. See, you can even get it from Google search. You don't have to use LinkedIn. Say, for example, if you know the CEO, do you know the name of the person?
Yeah.
What's the name?
His name is Mutlaq. Mutlaq.
And what is the full name?
It's Q, not K.
Mutlaq. And
Yeah.
then surname?
Mutlaq Al
Al.
Murashid.
This
Hair
one.
is down. Yeah. No, no, there was another guy came. Yeah, that's the first one. The first one. Yeah. This guy, the with the Saudi dress,
Okay.
number third.
Okay. Okay. So what happens is when you do a Google search,
Mm.
if this person has a LinkedIn profile, it will show up here. And then automatically, I don't think this person has a LinkedIn profile, because otherwise it will usually, it will come on the top search, because LinkedIn is one of the top indexed one for Google. So if this person is anywhere on the LinkedIn, it will immediately pull out, and then automatically the extensions will start to look for something.
Okay, if I just wanted to know that from LinkedIn that I know this only the name of the company, but I don't know who is their procurement head.
Mm.
So what would be the best way to find it?
You have to manually search here on the LinkedIn. So
No, I'm
LinkedIn.
talking about Lucia. How Lucia will give me the details.
See, Lucia, what you can do once you subscribe to Lucia,
Mhm.
see, this is what I am not using the paid version yet because it's
Yeah.
used by my team. So what
Uh,
I'm just having the extension here.
uh,
But once you get the paid version of Lucia, you can even do a search on their website once you log in, and you can search for particular people. There are a lot of extension will allow you to do that. See, there are, apart from Lucia, I have HireQuell, which is also similar to Lucia, and there is something called Rocket Search. Rocket Search is also similar. I will show you Rocket Search also. I think that will help you to get that the question that you asked me. Rocket Search.
I lost your screen again.
Yeah, I think he's not allowing me go to the other tab. So hold on. Okay, do you see my screen now?
Yeah.
So this is Rocket Search. Okay.
Mhm.
So what you have to do once, if you know something, if for example, if you're looking for a particular company, like you take the example of the same Aramco, right?
Tasni, take it Tasni. Aramco is very famous. Tasni is little
TUS, what's the spelling?
T A
TUS?
S T A S N E E.
Tasni. Okay. So you keep Tasni. So it will populate the list of people connected with Tasni. Rocket Search. This also works similar with, so you can see so many things. And from here, you can further, um it will give you a lot of options to filter the search. Tasni, and then if you want any other job title, say for example, if you're looking for if you're looking for a buyer, okay.
Yeah, buyer.
So it shows a lot of person here, but I don't know. There are so many here. There's Mohammed Al Rahim.
Mhm. But he is not in Tasni, he is in Chevron. Chevron is another company. Okay. Actually,
No,
they pick the
it could be.
profile from LinkedIn, and in LinkedIn he used to work in
Yes,
Tasni before.
yes. So there are no people on Tasni which Rocket Search can search here based on this particular title buyer. So, but if you put general Tasni, it gets some 23,000 results on this. There are about 23,000 results which are matching Tasni.
So this is the rocketsearch.co.
Rocketsearch.co. Yeah,
It is also paid or it's free?
everything is paid. I mean, all these extensions that you
It is
can,
extension or it is website? Rocket Search.
it will give you extension also. There is a Google Chrome extension here. You can see, right? There is a Rocket Search extension. You can use it as an extension. You can use it also as a web page. I mean, you can log into their website and you can do manual search. This is an automated, when you have it as an extension, it automatically searches for you.
So let's move to another question. What is the, because what we can see, this all data is coming from LinkedIn mostly, whatever we are
No, no,
looking.
not necessarily LinkedIn. Now, see, because these, what they do, these companies will deploy crawlers like web crawlers to gather data from thousands of websites. So it gathers data from every single website. It can be LinkedIn, Facebook. So, but there are websites that we cannot do crawling. As I said, the Facebook do not allow. But there are so many other pages where it can crawl through, and it gathers information. And once they see what, that is why we looked at the data mining, right? So when the web crawlers get the data, it is a very raw data. It will match. So, for example, then the name of the person is Akram Al-Ghamdi, right? So it when there are so many data comes, then the data scientist will match this uh, with this person's data with different sites, and then come to a conclusion that this is the same person who lives in Dubai with this contact email, and then they will try to get everything together. See, this may or may not be accurate, because there are a lot of times the emails that we get from these rocket search or anything that may not be accurate, because there are people who are very, very web cautious. When I say web cautious, they will not put any of their contact details anywhere on the web. There are so many people who are very, very cautious about sharing their contacts on websites or anywhere. With those people, it is very difficult to get their contact or anything. If somebody is
But
very,
they
very
are
cautious.
giving their business cards everywhere. Whenever you go there, they will give you his
Yeah,
business
but
card.
I mean, see, we are talking about business cards. But business cards, I mean, when you share it with somebody, it's not that everybody will put their details on websites. That will stay within those two companies, right? I mean, if a person from one company goes and meet another person, gets his business card, probably they will upload the details with their internal CRM, which is only visible to their company. And it is not, I mean, every company wants to protect their customer data also, right? And not everybody will put it on internet and all. So even if somebody shares it, it is not the case that it will be available online. That sometimes it is available, because now what happens is there are companies that will put contact the numbers, emails of the person on their website, right? So if you go to their website, you go there, they will put a lot of details about persons, who is the person, what is their contact number, email. Then it is easier for the crawlers to build the database using that. But if the companies are not giving any details, if they want to protect the data, then it is difficult. So what I'm saying is, with all these tools, there are still a lot of companies that you cannot penetrate. There are still a lot of companies that you cannot get access to. There are still a lot of people that may or may not be available online. So this, I mean, usually our success rate, I would say, is 50%. When we target 100 people, I mean, I would say 50% of the time we will get something out of the 100 people. Probably 50 people data we will be getting it. From out of the 50, 20% data will be inaccurate also. So either the email ID is not correct, their contact numbers are not correct. So those things will still happen. So, but still, at least 40% we will be able to get accurate data. With that 40%, we try to still build again and again. That is the exercise that we follow.
You remember last time you were discussing about lead generation companies.
Yep.
So can you please just let me know what is basically lead generation companies and which lead generation company that you think, especially for the Middle East, if you have any understanding, which is the good one?
Well, I don't have any market data of lead generating companies in the Middle East, or those who specialize in Middle East data, because most of the people that I or we as a company work with are all based in APAC, and they also focus on APAC market. But I can see if I can find that data for you. I'll try to talk to some
How
people.
about the biggest company in your area for lead generation? What is the name of that company? That might be also available, exist in UAE market or in Middle East market.
Usually the one, let me give you some names, hold on. I will look into the CRM. We have a lot of companies. We work with, hold on.
And what normally role they play as lead generation
See
companies?
what they do. I mean that the role they play is, for example, if I mean like if you take your company for example, you are a manufacturing company, right? Your focus is on manufacturing. So
Yeah,
sales may not be your strongest area, or
that's true.
marketing or sales may not be your strongest area, or you might still have people to do that. You may still lack the techniques, or you may still lack how it can be done, how to penetrate the market, how to go to the right person. So you might have a lot of gray areas on sales. So what you can do, you can outsource your marketing sales activities to these companies. So when I say outsource, it's not like you outsource completely, but you outsource certain part of the marketing work, especially the initial leg work, or getting the contact details of your targeted list of customers on a particular industry, on any particular, I mean, especially if you're looking at a region, say, for example, you're targeting about UAE, or within UAE, you tell them this is what the companies that I'm targeting in UAE. I need a complete, for example, 100 top companies on this particular industry, right? So then these companies will work on it. I mean, based on the fee that you agree to pay them. So what they give you are generally the leads. Say they will. I mean that this is what they do. I mean I've already showed you what these companies do. They will work with lot of these tools available online, so they will do the legwork for you, and based on that, they will provide you the data. So, like, okay, these are the 100 companies that we can give you. And from then on, you can take over. Your marketing people can take over. Your sales teams can take over in approaching those companies in whatever best way that you think is the best way to do it. And you can take over from then in, and that's what they usually do, because that the name suggests, right, they are lead generators, so they will just generate the lead for you and give it to you, and you will do whatever with it. I mean, there are so many ways that you will approach. I mean, you will follow your own process, or whatever way that you think is the best. I mean, you said mostly you do direct approach, right? You go there directly, meet
Actually,
with them.
I have a problem with them for the accuracy of data, veracity, as we know, we are going to discuss in next week.
Hmm.
Uh, the data they are providing is most of the time is not accurate. They
That's
just,
always the problem, actually.
yeah, this is what I'm saying. So paying them and still getting data, and that data is not accurate, what is the benefit?
Correct. See, that's always a challenge. See, because even if we do this by ourselves, like what I said, only 40% of the time we get the targeted customers. So 60% of the time it's not accurate. So that is actually the market condition right now.
Mhm.
Hi, Gautam.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, sorry, before there was connectivity issue.
Sure, sure, no
Uh,
problem.
One thing in LinkedIn, a lot of companies are doing that we make our own page, LinkedIn page,
Yep.
and we ask all our connections to see that page, and we upload all the activities, marketing activities on this LinkedIn page. So
Hmm.
this is how we can market in the LinkedIn, I think.
Yeah,
See, LinkedIn, that is, I mean, see, basically, that will help you to attract potential applicants to your company. Right. I mean, if you create a I mean, LinkedIn page, usually LinkedIn pages will attract your employees, or if you're planning to hire people, but that page may not be really relevant to your buyers, because
yeah,
if somebody is looking to engage a company, they will not be looking at LinkedIn, or they won't be looking at. There are so many other tools that they use. LinkedIn may not be, because LinkedIn, if you look at the whole crux of LinkedIn, LinkedIn is basically like a job portal.
yeah.
It was created for that purpose, right? As we all know, LinkedIn is not created for a business, it actually solves some of the business challenges. But if you look at the bare reason why LinkedIn, it is basically a job portal. So having a LinkedIn page can help your company to be on as a preferred employer, or people will get to know more about your company, because people who are in LinkedIn are 70 to 80% of job seekers. or people who are
Even
looking for
more, even
companies?
more, 90, 95.
Yeah, so the buyers are no longer active. Like what we searched also, the your targeted people that you're looking for, they may not be in the LinkedIn also,
Yeah.
right? When they are not even present in LinkedIn, how will it will solve your problem?
Okay, Gautam,
Right.
the last thing that I would like to ask, it's very specific to APIs.
Yep.
For example, I know there are a couple of websites like here in Saudi Arabia we have it's called SAP Ariba, SAP Ariba, and it's worldwide, it's international.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the companies are using SAP Ariba platform for the procurement purposes. Whenever they
Correct.
need to purchase anything, they are using that platform.
Correct.
Similarly, there is another platform. It's called Meet, M-E-E-D, Meet.com.
Mm-hmm.
Meet.com is having a lot of information about the ongoing projects or prospect projects or future projects on their websites.
Okay.
How I can get an API or any application that can pull all the required information what I am looking for on regular basis. For example, what information that I need? I need an information that my main client or the end user, that is Saudi Aramco, or that is the SABIC, Saudi Basic Industries companies, or that is the SNI or Royal Commission. These are the end users companies and the main companies, and it is semi-government companies. 80% business in Saudi Arabia is being generated from those companies. One of them is Ma'adan as well. That is talking about other minerals or other than oil and gas. So these companies like Mead, like SAP Ariba, Mead is providing the information about future projects, ongoing projects, and all those things. But it has very huge number of projects, and even the data is not as accurate as we need. Similarly, SAP Ariba is having a lot of requirements from the clients, like Aramco is publishing its request for proposal FRPs and FRQs on those SAP Ariba. So I want one kind of API that will scrap all these websites on regular basis and give me the data. Okay, this is the client has awarded this project to this, and these are the relevant people. I just wanted to have kind of predefine parameters. Anything that is falling between those parameters, it should come to me. This kind of things.
Mm. Okay, I think see that is possible when you do your registration on these sites. I mean, because I'm using SAP Ariba. Now, what we do on SAP Ariba, when we register in SAP Ariba, we will give our specializations, and there are what you call alerts that you can create in SAP Ariba. Like if there is this particular kind of a project opportunity posted, then automatically you should get an alert. I think that is possible if you carefully navigate through their site and then see what are their options in terms of giving you an alert. I think that's pretty much possible on SAP Ariba. I'm not sure about Meet because I haven't used them so far, but SAP Ariba, I think that's possible.
Yeah, SAP Ariba, as you said, they are having all those things. And again, my point is, if I want one API that will
Mhm.
get me the required, because even for me, SAP Ariba, I will put something and I will get something. Most of the
See,
time,
actually, SAP Ariba, you cannot do that. See,
yeah.
because SAP Ariba will not let you to get any APIs deployed there, because their informations are really, really confidential. So there is no way that you can get any sort of data from using any API in SAP Ariba.
No, if the data is available on their website, then I cannot do it? If I will visit that website and I can get that data,
Mm.
why an API cannot?
Those are I mean the what do you call it, the RFI related data.
Yeah.
I think that is possible. RFI related data, definitely you can get it.
Mm.
But if you're talking about contacts of persons or any uh, targeted client data, those things, I don't think it's possible.
Okay, so do you suggest any API that we should talk to and ask them? This is a API mean API developer company who has already developed one API or two, whatever it is, and ask them and give them, okay, this is our requirement, and they can give us a solution. Do you know anyone?
I don't know because so far we haven't used any APIs for SAP Ariba or any such procurement related websites. But I can look around for you. I will check with my contacts and see if there are any companies that they can do this one.
But as you said, you are in sales, right? You are heading the
Yeah.
sales team.
Yeah.
So definitely your team is every day meeting people from procurement, from the client side.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they might have understanding on these things, that on which portals and how to get
See,
consolidated
because
data.
see, our sales process is very different. We don't
Mhm.
really go to the procurement first.
Uh-huh.
We go to the decision makers, and the decision makers get us to the procurement. So
Mhm.
we will avoid the procurement process. We never go to procurement first. Procurement is not our targeted department. We
Mhm.
target the decision makers who are usually the CTOs, CIOs. So we will go to them directly. We'll bypass the procurement. We go to these people, and through them, because see, it's like procurement are like gatekeepers, right? I
Mhm.
mean, for companies to accredit any particular vendor.
Mhm.
Sometimes they may not understand your product. They will only say, oh, we have a vendor for this, I have a vendor for that. They may not understand how different your product is, how this can add value to that company. So what we do, we go directly to the decision makers. We tell them, hey, listen, this is what my product is, and I think this is something that will be really a value add to your company. So once the decision maker is convinced that yes, this is a product that will be useful, so we will ask them to contact or connect us to the procurement, and we will work on from then on.
Yeah, but end of the day, it is the same strategy. It should be even the similar things with us. But the only difference is, in your case, you are in every company where you are going, you are meeting only IT decision maker like CIOs, like maybe the general manager of IT or anyone who is head of IT department, because that is for you the way to go. But for
Yep.
us, we have in every company we have more than 4 or 5 different departments, and every department has, let's say, more than 20 divisions where they need our service most of the time. So for us it is little complicated, but still I believe that is the right approach. That is still, instead of going through directly to the procurement, it's better to approach to the decision makers. But it is more than one in a company, or more than, you know, sometimes tens in a company to whom we can approach.
Okay, just 1 minute. Just hold on 1 minute.
Ji Zadi sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry, Mustafa. Actually, I got late for the other meeting because I had an
It's fine.
8:30.
It's fine.
I'm sorry.
I'm
Okay,
really.
so I will keep your request. I understand what you're asking for. Let me come back to you. I will. There should be something that can help you on what you're looking for. Let me check with my people also. I mean, our own sales team, and then the guys that we are working with, to see if there is a way out, or there is anyone who can help you to on that particular requirement.
Thank you, Gautam. Thank you for your time. I
No
really
worries.
appreciate it.
Gotham, one quick question. Can you
Yes, sir.
answer?
Yep.
Yes. Your salespeople, when they go to client, they normally collect their cards and data. So how they make the database? Is there they are using software or uh,
No, what we do, we have an internal ICRM. We call it. It's a company-owned proprietary software. It's an ICRM. So they have an application on their mobile phone. So what they do is they just take a picture of their visiting card and all data is captured to the CRM already.
Okay, so you're using that software.
Yeah, I think that there is a lot of available softwares on Play Store and iOS. I mean, it's called calling card data capture something. So you can use that and you can integrate it to your CRM if you have, and it automatically captures and gets the data there.
Right.
Thank you, Gautam. Thank
All
you,
right.
man.
Thank you, Mustafa. Thank you, Syed. If there are anything,
Thank you.
just text me. I'll be able to help you out.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
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 Bye-bye.
Take care. Yep. Bye bye.